E aí, galera, beleza? My name's Clara.
I'm Little Boy.
Today, our topic for our second episode of Tea Time Talks is going to be what it's like as a dancer on a cruise ship. The first question is it hard keeping in touch with people back home? For me, I feel like I've slowly gotten farther away from talking to people back home, only because on the ship, we have to pay for Wi-Fi. For me, I'm kind of bad at keeping in touch with people.
So for me, yes, it is hard to keep in touch with people because I try to save money, try to don't buy Wi-Fi, or try to spend in things that I would like to spend instead of spending money on social media or to connect. But of course, every once in a while it's important to keep in touch with your family and friends. So I try to find the balance and try to find time for my loved ones, of course, but it is hard. Sometimes if you're in a different country, you have the different time difference, and when it's day, there is night, or when we're night, there is day, so you just gotta find the balance, I think.
So the next question is, do you get homesick and how do you deal with that? I feel like I'm pretty good at dealing with it because I moved away from home for university. Then after that, I came straight here. So I was pretty much used to being away from my family before. Even though it was only an hour and a half from home, I still had my place and my things. So I felt like that made leaving a little bit easier because I had already been away from home for that period of time. Obviously, it's hard at first. Like, you do miss your friends and your family, and you always see like them doing things at home, and you're like, oh, I wish I could be there. So of course, there's definitely feelings of homesickness, but I feel like as you go on and do more contracts, like definitely my first contract, I found myself a little bit more in that place. But now I feel like I'm pretty good at just knowing that I'm gonna go back home to them and that they're gonna be there when I'm there, and everything's probably gonna be the same as when I left it. So yeah, I feel happy to go and like experience things and travel and do what I love, and I have him. So it's a little bit nice because I feel like I have a little bit of my family here and good company, so it makes it a little bit easier being away from home, I feel like.
I feel like you get used to it. Of course, you miss a little bit your friends, your parents, or your home or your space, but we as an artist, we are always used to it and open to adapt. So sometimes you get a little bit tough, of course. Ship life is always a roller coaster. You go up, you go down, go up, go down. As long as you try to be happy and try to surround yourself with good people, I think you're gonna be pretty solid.
The next one is a popular question. Do you ever get seasick on the ship?
I feel like I just got used to it. It's pretty natural. I just like see everyone walking side to side. You see when you sleep, it's kind of nice for me. You see the wave, the balance, and everything just makes me even more sleepy. Yes, sleepy. Make me sleepy, but doesn't make me sick.
Yeah, sleepy is a big problem when it's rocky. I find like I can't really do a whole lot. Makes me very tired. It's really hard to get out of bed in the morning. I get seasickness very easily. I've always gotten really motion sick. Just in general, I get very car sick, seasick, motion sick. So on the ship, it is really challenging for me. But as I can say, as I've went on in my contracts, I've definitely gotten better. Talking about the motion in the ocean, does it bother you to dance when it's rocky? Do you have to make adjustments? And if so, would you consider it dangerous when it's rocky?
It depends of the show. For us, specifically that we are dancers, I feel like it's a little bit risky.
The biggest word that they use, I feel like, is modify. A lot of the time it's like super rocky, and in the past shows that I've done, like we wear heels and then maybe we say, okay, everyone wear flats the whole entire show. Some of the aerial might be modified. Some of the floor work might be modified. Maybe you don't stand on a bunch of things, but essentially, we have a plan B so that we can make the show happen if it's rocky. The next one is, what are your working hours like and what other duties do you have on the ship? It depends on your venue and how much you work, but for sure as dancers, we have our show nights that we work. Mainly, we have some spotlight duties here and there. And then we also do pax drill, which is mandatory for everyone on the ship to do, which is like when guests come on board and we have to like show them the emergency duties. So maybe you scan people in, maybe you show people how to wear a life jacket. pretty much it's like an hour out of your day, but that's pretty much sums up our responsibilities.
Here and there we have some meetings, we have some rehearsals, if you have to do any other practice or install someone or any other situation that you have to replace someone or whatever, of course we have to rehearsal.
Yeah.
And we are supposed to go to the gym as well.
Yes, you're supposed to go to the gym 1 hour a day. What's your favorite thing to do when you're not dancing on the ship? I always say that ship time is my time to like relax and do me. I like to read a lot of books. I like to listen to podcasts. I like to do things like, I don't know, that just keep my brain working and keep my body super healthy, because I think that we definitely work a lot here, but we take for granted on land like resting time. So here I really try and implement that, and because we dance so much and so hard, I make sure that I'm sleeping and resting my body the way that it needs to in order to function at its top, because yeah, our shows are pretty intense. So I want to make sure that I'm giving my best and giving my all. So maybe there's like a project that I'm doing, a video or a blog or something like that. It changes, I feel like, all the time. You find things that you like to do in and out, but for me, that's kind of it.
Watch videos, take some photos, edit some photos, record videos or plan some videos or some tutorials, or I'm always trying to improve my skills with videography and editing. Try to learn more about financial, some other skills that I can be improving or that's gonna work for me when I go back to land.
Like documentaries or like things that keep our brain going.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that's important when you're on the ship, I feel like, is to keep your mind going, keep it learning, keep it growing, because it's so easy to like get into a routine and do the same thing over and over and over again and not like open your mind to like what's going on in the world because you're so isolated. So I think we do a pretty good job of like learning new things every single day. What is the policy for sickness or injury on the ship?
It's different for each ship or each company, but for us it depends on the level that you got injured, or depends on what happened, how was the situation. You can go back home and take care of yourself, and as long as you're good, you're fit for duty, you're able to come back and do what you need to do.
Obviously, because we're at such a high risk when we do our job, they cover everything, they make sure that we're good, they make sure that we're healthy. So in order to do that, like, we're definitely human, so we're gonna get sick, get injured. It's like, how do we deal with this situation and how do we move forward? Because, you know, it's about longevity, it's about like the long haul rather than like doing every single show, because by the end you'll do maybe 200, 300 shows. It's about like maintaining yourself, so I think they're pretty good at keeping us from injury, and if it happens, how do we deal with it in the most efficient way so that you can get back to doing your job. Do they have classes for us for keeping up our training, or what's that like? Every ship is different actually for classes. Usually the goal is to try and do one class every week. When we do a class, it's not for training purposes per se, it's more for fun. As I said before, restore your body, maintain it, make sure that you're resting and sleeping and taking care of it the way that you need. So anything that you need training wise, you need to do for yourself. The next question is, do we get any physio on board?
We don't really have a physio on board, and the only moment that we got to check or do anything in maintenance or whatever we need for our bodies, we have once a week that we got to do appointment with them, and they come on board on the turnaround day, and that's the only time that we got to see or experience any contact with a physiotherapist or anything like that.
How big is your cabin and what is the food like?
The cabin is this big.
Jokes.
Single share. You can touch on the sides and you can take 3 to 4 steps forward and back. That's it. Double, if you share with a roommate or something, you have a little bit more space. 3 steps aside, right to left, and you can have probably like what? 5 to 6 steps forward and back.
Yeah.
Just so you can have an idea.
The bathroom, you can take like 2 steps. The toilet's literally touching the shower. So it's super, super tiny.
It's very small.
Not glamorous. There's no windows, but you know, it works.
It's definitely a way that you learn how to live with less.
The living space is definitely a sacrifice, but it's also free, so how can we complain about that? As for the food, on this ship it's great. Depends on your ship, depends on where it's located, where it's ported from, where it gets its...
Depends of the chef, depends of the mood,
True.
Depends of course in some holidays and some special dates they try to bring a little bit more to the table, and
Yeah, they go crazy.
but on the basics there is always a lot of choice because we have a lot of nationalities, a lot of people from different parts of the world.
I think they're always open to like figuring out what we like and making it for us. And the last one is, how would you sum up your experience on board?
It's definitely a plus, and it's definitely a thing that you're never gonna be able to experience in land. Of course there is ups and downs, but I have everything that I need to live and to be healthy, so it's pretty good.
This is an experience that has taught me so much about myself, about other people, about living with other people, and just as about myself as an artist. I feel like as much as people say, oh, you can't really grow as an artist on the ship, I feel like as for me, I have learned a lot of aerial and training and things that I would have never ever done on any stage on land. So I feel like for me, my experience has been a great one, and I have learned a lot physically, mentally, and as a performer. It's definitely worth it.
A lot of people are gonna tell you what they think, what they do, and what they would like, but the best thing, go and experience yourself and take your own conclusions.
So I hope that this video answered some of those questions for you.
Thank you very much for watching this video. If you would like to know, if you have any question about ships and about dancing, leave in the comment down below. Support this channel if it's one thing that you're into it. Give us a like. Share to your friends that would like to know how is their life as a dancer on a cruise ship.
Yeah, I guess we'll see you in our next video. Bye.